Welcome to the Book Party Podcast. Join us as we journey into the world of books with Michael T. Prepare to be captivated by engaging interviews, insightful discussions, and fascinating stories. You'll discover new adventures and gain insight into the creative process of the authors themselves as they share their struggles and accomplishments. Now let's hear from Michael T.
This is Michael T. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the Book Party Podcast. Today we are pleased to introduce you to a polymath, professional, and rising literary talent, ST Tangirala. ST Tangirala is a dynamic individual who seamlessly blended three remarkable qualities throughout his multifaceted career: creative, technical, and personal. His professional journey has taken him across numerous industries, from marketing to technology, business development to management. He's left his mark on fields as diverse as personal development, real estate, media, insurance, food and drink, travel, and lifestyle. But that's not all. ST Tangirala is also the charismatic host of the Next in Time podcast, where he interviews up-and-coming visionaries poised to impact the future with their innovative creations significantly. And if that weren't enough, he's just released a compelling fiction book this September titled Havensbury. Havensbury takes us into a prestigious realm of Havensbury Preparatory Academy, where we meet our protagonist, Noah Liebermann, a determined student. Noah struggles with academic challenges and an isolated culture, wondering if he truly belongs in this world. However, a serendipitous encounter with a homeless man changes Noah's life. Through this unexpected mentorship, he learned invaluable lessons about resilience, entrepreneurship, and the profound impact of communal bonds. With newfound guidance, Noah has the potential to survive the elite prep high school and transform it. Noah's journey is courageous and determined as he challenges the traditional mindset of his parents, teachers, peers, and even a principal who might despise him. With overwhelming odds stacked against him, Noah symbolizes hope and change within his school and community. ST Tangirala's inspirational young adult novel, Havensbury, is a gripping tale that will have you rooting for Noah as he battles personal struggles and strives to be a beacon of hope and transformation. It's a story that transcends generations and inspires change in all of us. So, dear listeners, get ready to embark on a journey of resilience, entrepreneurship, and unwavering hope with ST Tangirala and his captivating book, Havensbury. Stay tuned for an engaging conversation that will leave you inspired and ready to positively impact your world as we delve into the pages of Havensbury with ST Tangirala. So, ST, why don't you take it from here, fill in the blanks a bit, and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Michael, thank you so much for that warm and lovely introduction, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone really narrate my whole life in such a calm and focused way. So I'm glad you're able to introduce me right there. But yeah, so about myself, my name is ST, and I'm the host of the Next in Time podcast, as Michael mentioned. I'm the author of Havensbury, and I'm also a business consultant helping out companies with their technology issues in one way or another. So that's kind of what I am. As Michael mentioned, I am kind of like a polymath of different facets put together into one. So,
okay, well, on your publishing journey, did you go the self-publishing route or the route of finding an agent and an agency route, or something in between, such as a hybrid publisher? How did you do your publishing journey?
I think I've always started out with self-publishing primarily because getting a book deal is what you call a long shot. And I have enrolled in this program called Self-Publishing School, where they gave me the guidance, the mentorship, and the know-how on how to really write the book, publish it, and also be able to see if you can market it well, and also really have a team of people help design your cover and your contents of the book that can make more that can really make the reader engage with what you're reading.
Such as editing and formatting and such like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so is that more like a hybrid publishing situation, or?
I would say I would say kind of hybrid, but it's also self-published at the same time. I would publish at the same time. It's not really a like what you call a traditional publisher coming in and say, okay, we'll take care of this part and this part and this part.
Well, most people are getting away from, that I talk to anyway, and trust me, I talk to a lot of authors. Most people are getting away from traditional publishers because they feel that, well, number one, the cost is huge. Number two, the time element just takes 2 to 3 years to get their book published. And they feel like they've lost control of their book when they turn it over to them, because the publisher doesn't care about what you want it to say. They care about what they want it to say, and start telling you, they're going to start rewording it and, using their editors and things like that. And they get very frustrated with it. Now, there are a few that want to go traditional publishing, and they have their specific reasons for it. And those reasons I do understand.
Yeah.
My books are self-published. Now, when you self-published, what did you do? Did you upload like KDP, or did you go through a different route? How did you do that?
No, I just work with a team of people to upload it on KDP.
Oh, okay. Because some people use like Draft to Digital, KDP, different things like that. So once you do it, then you still got to market the book anyway. So no matter which way you go, you got to do the marketing.
Yeah, because I think I've realized one thing throughout this journey is that writing and like the writing part seems a lot easier, and the uploading part seems easier, but the editing, the planning, and also the marketing are the hardest parts of the journey.
Well, yeah, if you don't market your book, you can upload it there and it'll just be sitting in the middle of nowhere. Nobody will know your book's there. So, yeah, you have to do the marketing of the book. So, take us to a point that you would consider your worst author moment and tell us about that.
That's a really good question to ask, because I believe my worst author moment was, I think, when I sent the copy of my books, like these unedited books, to a couple of beta readers, and they said to me they were not able to really understand what the story was, and I feel like that was a bit of a tough pill to swallow at first, but as I started working on it, looking at it, and editing the book itself, I came to realize that it is it is feedback at the end of the day. I could just look back at it and say, okay, maybe what they said may be right. So why not just make a couple of changes here and there that could really make the flow of the book go smooth?
For sure, you got to take it as feedback. You got to have another set of eyes on the book. It can't just be your own. And that's where a good editor comes in as well, to, help you with that and tell you where these changes need to be, and where it might just be running off into nowhere and doesn't make sense. Good editors for that. So did you use an editor, or did you just use the beta readers? How did you do that?
I've started off with having a beta reader read through it, give me the feedback, and then afterwards I just went straight towards an editor so that they can really help me with fixing certain elements of the story, where what we can do is change the way I wrote this book was, I started out with setting the first couple of chapters in, let's say, the present day, and then several chapters, like let's just say the vast meat of the book was set place back in, like, let's say 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And then afterwards, we brought it back to the present day. So it's kind of like a three-part act in a way. Like the first act was on the present day, second act was back in the past, and third act was back in the present again. So after speaking with my editor, I think what we did was we just had to put we decided to go for like a timely flow of events rather than, let's say, from jumping from one time to another time. So if you see in the book where, okay, when you start off the book, it starts off in the year 1997 and then goes all the way to the year 2019. And that that was what my editor recommended me to do, is to make it all in one flow rather than having me go back and forth.
Right. No, I can understand that. Did you use an outline? Did you create an outline before you started writing the book?
I just only brainstormed ideas and wrote it on paper, and then just used my own instinct to be able to use my own like instincts, because outlines, I may have structured the book in one way, but the way I've written it will be a completely different way.
Yeah, well, the books I've written are all nonfiction, and I have to have an outline. And I mean, I have to have a solid outline. It goes chapter by chapter, then the chapters are broken down into subheadings. It's well-researched. Of course, it's nonfiction. And I have to have that for a couple of reasons, or I'll just start wandering off into Never Land somewhere, So and then I can't have writer's block either, because if I get to a certain point and you think, well, what am I going to write now? All I got to do is jump ahead, and write, and then I can go back and fill in the blanks a lot easier. And so there's no writer's block that way. So let's switch this up to what we call the epiphany moment, or I call it that anyway. So when you're doing anything except the actual writing of the book, you can be driving, cooking, shopping, hell, you can be taking a shower. And all of a sudden, this big aha moment or a bright light bulb bursts in your head, and you think of something, and it has to be written down right now. It's going in my book. I got it down. Write it down right now. Because if you don't do it now, it's going to start fading pretty quickly. And if you wait a half an hour later, it's not going to be the same. Do you have a moment like that?
I think when I even thought about this book, I was in the UK. I was pursuing graduate school over there, and I've come across different kinds of people. I usually go from my residence back to the campus and back and forth and back and forth. And usually during those walks, sometimes ideas start flowing in my head. And then for some reason, during one of those walks, I recalled a moment where, when I remember a moment where I used to help out. I used to serve this homeless person. He came up to me saying, "Hey, can you give me a couple of dollars? And also, can you come with me? I need to show you something," kind of thing. I was very leery at first, but then I started building that trust with that homeless person in one way or the other. I was very leery, but then as he's told his own story about himself and who he is and all that stuff and all that, I think that's where I got this thought process about the concept of this book in general, like how one person can trust a homeless person at one particular time and then just be like, let's see how we can help him.
Okay, that's a good way to do it. Now, have you thought at all about taking your book and making it into an audio book?
I haven't yet. I'm still working towards. I'm trying to see if I can also convert it into a screenplay.
Okay. Because I've done a lot of research and I've talked to other people, and it looks like within the next 2 years at the outside, audio is going to take over print. And it's mainly because of the lifestyle everybody lives. They drive, they walk, they, jog, they exercise. They're listening more than they're reading. And, audio is going to overtake print. That's what I've been hearing. But anyway, what is the one thing that you're the most fired up about or excited about right now, today?
That's a very interesting question there, but I would say just like every day I'm fired up about life. Let's say what I'm looking forward to doing. Let's say, for example, I'm looking forward to getting things done for work, or getting things done for my personal life. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that personal high you get after some accomplishment.
Yeah, the accomplishment's done, so now you fired up about life, that's a fantastic thing to be fired up about. This is Michael T. I invite you to go to bookpartypodcast.com, hit that subscribe tab on top, scroll down to the icon of your choice, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or Odyssey, where you can download and follow us there, and please leave a review. Don't forget to sign up for our weekly video newsletter and get the latest information on our upcoming shows. So, ST, we're going to enter into the lightning round. The lightning round is 4 pointed questions for 4 pointed answers. So before you started writing, before you became an author, what kept you from becoming an author in the first place?
I didn't know I wanted to be an author growing up. I know I had a vivid imagination throughout my life. I think there was a time when I was 23, and I said, I think at least I want to just spend 1 year just writing stuff down. I mean, I'm not published or not published, but I just want to write something down. So it's kind of that's how I got into the writing space in general.
Okay. So when you started writing, what was the best advice that you had ever received?
Write constantly every day. Just write up to 500 to 1,000 words a day, and don't hold back when you're writing those words.
You know, when you start writing and you write 500 words, 1,000 words, that can all of a sudden snowball into just, you're the thoughts in your head, and all of a sudden you're writing 2,000, 3,000 words. It can just snowball up. And, the thing is, you cannot edit an empty page. So you have to write something, right?
Right.
So you can't edit an empty page. So, yeah, you've got to write. So share one of your habits that contributes to your success in writing.
Waking up early and exercising.
Okay. Can you share with our listeners an internet resource that you use when you write?
Well, this may be controversial, but ChatGPT, just to throw stuff down and for some imagination and stuff.
That's actually not controversial. More and more people are using that to get some ideas, to get some, just what you're talking about, get a little bit of workflow going on certain issues. It's out there. A lot more people are starting to go to that. As long as they're using it the right way, I don't see any issue with it. So now we're going to enter into the grand finale. What I want you to do is to take your time and tell our listeners all about your book.
To which extent do you want me to tell about the book?
Well, I don't want you to tell them the ending or anything, but just tell them generally about the book.
So in general, this is the story of a young prep school student by the name of Noah Liebermann. He's from New York, goes to prep school in Massachusetts, but then he ends up failing a lot of his classes. That failure and the constant reprimanding of his principal, his parents, and everyone just drives him nuts. And he goes outside. Basically, once he gets out of the campus, the world of the prep school, he encounters a homeless person, and that homeless person shows him a different path to life and different perspective on things that are completely contrary to the prep school itself. And then, so slowly but surely, Noah starts accumulating his advice, and then starts building that relationship with the community of Havensbury. So you have Havensbury and you have Havensbury Prep. That's the two dichotomous worlds right now that are at odds with each other. And so Noah has to basically just build that relationship with the town, start serving some of these residents. So in terms of, let's say, a business, he starts what I call a service business with some of the people in Havensbury. And he serves those businesses, and that causes a massive conflict and a rift between himself and the town of Havensbury against the principal of Havensbury Prep. His name is Tom Russell. and the prep school itself. So it's got like two dichotomous worlds at odds with one another that basically serves as the conflict of the story. And then it's basically how Noah, basically what you'll do is you'll hear more about this whole conflict through the perspective of Noah, and you'll just follow him on his journey and seeing how he's able to navigate and mitigate through all these conflicts, and how he's able to resolve it, build relationships with people both inside and outside Havensbury Prep. And it's also a bit of that coming of age for Noah. Like he goes from like this really bad student that gets penalized for everything to now becoming a big defender of the community of Havensbury against the prep school.
Okay, wow. That sounds pretty interesting, to be honest with you. So, ST, we thank you so much for being here with us today, opening up to us, and I'm sure our listeners appreciate this as well. Remember, ST Tangirala's book, Havensbury, is available on Amazon. Again, this is Michael T. To all our listeners, I would invite you to go to bookpartypodcast.com, hit that subscribe tab on top, and scroll down to the icon of your choice, where you can find us on one of your favorite platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or Odyssey. You can download and follow us there. Please leave a review, and don't forget to sign up for our weekly video newsletter and get the latest information for our upcoming shows. Until next time, keep reading, learning, and discovering the world through the pages of a good book. Book Party Podcast is owned and powered by MTM Legacy Publishing, LLC. This is Michael T. signing off.
You must not miss our next episode as we delve into a world of inspiration, entertainment, and thought-provoking insights. Join Michael T. on the next Book Party Podcast and experience a new adventure, a new story, and a complete immersion into the world of Pages Unveiled, Chronicles of the Writing Journey.